know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast. Your source for the best information and insight when it comes to sports wagering. We cover it all because you bet on it all. So let's head up to the studio and get this show rolling.
Welcome, everybody, to the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast, with your hosts, the Irish Insider, Brooksie, Patrick J. Brooks, and myself, Eric Easy Money of the Flesh. What is up, Patrick Brooks?
Hey, you know what, Easy Money? Another Thursday night here at the 7 and a Hook Podcast studio. Where else would we want to be, right? I mean, this is what we do. You know, and I haven't seen you in a few days. Hope everything is well at work and family and everything. But tonight, it's about picks and plays, giving some good insight, giving some good, information, and going to cash some tickets. So before I get to tonight's agenda, what's on the menu, Eric, I got to point out, I'm gonna reach over. I'm gonna pat you on the back. I'm gonna pat myself on the back because last week our two podcasts and our quick hitters that we did during the week, 24-8. Combined against the spread, folks. Yep, that's documented on air. Myself and Easy Money, we're giving free picks away. All you got to do is tune into the show, right, Eric? I mean,
that's it, man.
Pretty simple. No money down, as we like to say. Just watch the show, take our advice, and go beat the bookie up. We love that, right?
And cash those tickets.
Cash those tickets on air. Since we launched the show, Eric, 12 weeks ago, okay, on air now. This is documented. I can't make this stuff up. People can go back and watch. We're combined 192, 126, and 4 against the spread. I'm going to say that again. 192, 126, and 4 against the spread. That's over a 60% winning percentage, Eric. I don't know what else to say, right?
No, that's damn impressive, Patrick. And if you were following us, you would have made some major money, all documented, as you say. There's no fluff.
Yeah.
There's no fluff here. When you say, we went 21-3 or 21-6, go back to the YouTube channel, folks, or our social medias on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, and listen, the show. It's not about. We want to act like we're big shots because, we kind of are. You're a big deal. I'm a big deal. But the point is, we're handing out advice because, listen, we hate bookies, and bookies hate us.
Yep.
So if we can share some insight so you can take down your local book or going down to that casino that you live near, we want to help you. As a matter of fact, Eric, you and I both know that some of the heavy hitters that, these professional handicappers, they've been following us on our socials, giving us some likes, giving us some follow. So we're definitely getting some traction with our play. So, but anyways, let's get to tonight's show, right? We got tonight's agenda. What's on the menu? We're going to start with a little NFL. Eric and I are we got 3 games that were considered spotlight games. We're going to break those down for you. We're going to move right then to college football. I got a couple plays on the board that I know are live. Eric, we're going to go to the sweet science. He's our boxing guru. He's got a title fight that's coming up. I think it's tomorrow night, right, Eric?
Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at the Southern New Hampshire University Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're kind of Boston-based. It's a local fight for us, and that's a big card, Eric. So I know you got your eyes on the main fight, Andrade and Quigley. I can't wait to hear what you got for our listeners. We're going to end the show a little soccer, a little international football. So again, we cover it all because you bet on it all. So, you know what, Eric? Without further ado, let's get this show rolling. Why don't you kick it off with your NFL, your first spotlight play?
Okay, my first spotlight is the Green Bay Packers traveling north to visit the Minnesota Vikings. Packers coming in 8-2, fighting Minnesota, who's had some embarrassing losses and has some really great wins. They're standing at 4-5, and Packers coming in at a 2-point favorite. Big storylines of this game, of course, is Packers defense against the against the pass is incredible. And they get, of course, last year's MVP, Aaron Rodgers, back. Nursing a little bit of a toe issue, held out of practice today, but he's feeling pretty good. He thinks he's a go for Sunday. So, and Packers are ranked third against the pass. So what this really means is you have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen for Minnesota, of course, being passed to by Kirk Cousins, who's having just another below the radar fantastic year. Packers have been incredible. So what's that really mean, Patrick? It means that the Minnesota game plan is going to have to go through Dalvin Cook. So as he goes, Minnesota's going to go. No more Jordan Love for Packers as Aaron Rodgers is back. And say what you want. I mean, last week they did shut out Seattle 17-0. But they are a better team with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think anybody would dispute that. Dalvin Cook, as I said, is the key to success for Minnesota. Green Bay hasn't really faced a running back of his caliber this year so far. They did face Ezekiel Elliott a few weeks ago, but I think if we're being honest, Cook's a little bit elevated above Ezekiel at this time. Rodgers is back. I got to go, last week, the Vikings, they did win against the Chargers. And Cousins was 14 for 28 to his two receivers I talked about earlier for 208 yards combined to those two receivers. But Packers are going to shut them down. If Packers will walk away with it if they can contain Cook. I still think the Packers win. I'm going to take the under. The overall is 49 and a hook. I just don't see. I see I see them around 35 to 38 for a total. So I'm going Packers in the under.
Packers in a good play. All right. So Packers -2 and under 49 and a hook.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My first spotlight play of the week is the Indianapolis Colts on the road travel to take on the Buffalo Bills. Now the Bills are favored by 7 at home. Points total set at 50. All right. The Colts come into this game, Eric, 5-5. All right. They're 2-2 on the road. They're coming off a 23-17 win against the Jaguars. Now, that could have certainly been a kind of a trap game. Yeah. And they were losing a little bit, but they came back. Good teams win games you're supposed to, even when it's a trap game. And they beat the Jags 23-17. Now, the Colts, they're winners 4 out of their last 5. They're a pretty hot team, okay? Now, their only loss in the last 5 was against the Titans. Okay, and that was a heartbreaker. That was in overtime a few weeks ago. Colts were winning in that game. They couldn't hold the lead. The Titans came back and beat them in overtime. Wentz quietly having a pretty good season. Almost 2,400 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, only 3 picks. Okay, let's look at the Bills. They come into this game, Eric, 6-3. All right, 3-1 at home. The Bills trounced the Jets last week, 41-17. Now that was coming off a sleepwalk loss that you and I were disgusted by. They flew down to Jacksonville and lost 9-6, right? No touchdowns. That's not the Bills we know.
Very odd.
That was beyond odd. But again, sometimes you get those stinkers, and they really put up a stinker. But they got back on track against the Jets last week. All right. Josh Allen, let's look at him. He's still MVP candidate. He's got over 2,600 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, 6 picks. Last week he lit it up. Over 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. All right, the Bills scoring 31 points a game, letting up 15. The Colts, 26 points a game, letting up 23. All right, how do I see this game? I think the Colts are the best 5-5 team in the league. I think with a couple breaks, they really should be. I think they should be a 7-win team at this point. But again, you are what you are. But I like them in this spot, Eric. I'm going to take the 7 points as they travel to Buffalo. And I also like the under. I think you're going to see the running game come into play a big factor this week. So I like the Colts +7 and I like under 50. And another reason why, Buffalo Bills, they play Thanksgiving. Okay, I got a feeling they're going to be looking ahead to that Turkey Day game. Okay, so I like Colts and I like the under 50.
So I think it's going to be like a field goal game or something at the end, that type of deal. That's pretty bold to do that, but I'm not going to disagree with you. I'll
And
probably,
considering I was all over Buffalo last week over the Jets, so now I'm going against them. So
yeah, I'll make fun of you, but I won't, harp on you. I'll make
It's
fun of
okay.
you, when the Bills win by 38. But unless they put
You're
another,
laughing with, yeah, that's
yeah,
okay.
unless they put another doinker up against like they did against the Jaguars. But okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that.
so the Washington football team, can I do it or no? Can I do it?
Oh, you can.
On the road,
Say, look at
visiting the Carolina Panthers.
that.
Washington coming in 3-6. Panthers 5-5, 2-3 at home. Panthers a 3-and-a-hook favorite, and the points are 43. So they think the way I think, a little bit on the points. But of course, two big stories in this game off the bat. I mean, you got Ron Rivera visiting his ex-team for the first time.
That's right.
He coached Carolina for a number of years, had great success, most successful coach in their franchise history. And of course, he had a hand in drafting Cam Newton, number one pick in the league. So what happens to Carolina? Carolina played with Cam Newton. They released Cam Newton. The New England Patriots picked him up. Was there a couple of years, released him. He sat around the league, staying in shape, which was very important for Cam. He's a big dude. He's 6'5", 260, and he's ripped. Stayed in shape. I mean, I don't know who he practiced with, but he evidently, he kept his arm fresh. And what's Carolina do? They pick him up. Had some injuries to Sam Darnold, who they got from the Jets last year. A little bit of quarterback issues. Boom, Cam's back on the scene to number one. He's ripping it off like a Superman. He has two very good plays for touchdowns last week. Coach says, well, we're going to start you against Ron Rivera's Washington football team. So Newton is starting. Carolina comes in a 3-and-a-hook favorite. I think Washington might even be favored if Newton wasn't involved. But Panthers, they got Christian McCaffrey back. This running back, if you follow NFL football, like we hope you certainly do if you're listening to the show, Christian McCaffrey is on the tip of everybody's tongues as one of the breakout running backs in the last 10 years in the league. This year, he missed weeks 4 through 8 with injury. It's kind of scaring me a little bit because I'm a huge McCaffrey fan, Patrick, but he almost is becoming a little bit injury prone. But he is back, and I tell you what, he's back with a vengeance. Last two contests, he's racked up 267 all-purpose yards through the air and on the ground. And of course, last week, and our heart goes out to Chase Young, defensive end for Washington. Non-contact injuries, folks, are the worst. Nobody touched Chase Young. He went down, torn ACL, out for the year. He is a monster. He was number one draft pick a couple years ago. A monster on defense, and he really clogs the middle up. He really gets to the quarterback, puts pressure on him. He really closes any holes opened up for the running backs. So I think that McCaffrey is going to have a field day. I think Newton is going to do enough to... I don't think he's going to have a superstar day because you got to remember Newton's mindset as a quarterback came from Rivera. So Rivera kind of knows the thinking there. Washington beat the Bucks last week, 29-19. Surprise to everybody, and it was because of Tyler Heineke, the quarterback. He went 26 for 32, 256, and a touchdown. Very efficient. The kid has not turned the ball over. I do think the Panthers get to him a few times. I think he's going to see a few sacks. I do think that their running back up by committee is going to have a tough time against Carolina. I'm seeing Carolina, and I'm going to take the over because I think that Carolina at home is going to have, they're going to put 7 to 14 more points than they would on the road. I think Newton passes for a couple. He may run for one. Hopefully, for his sake, there's no turnovers. He's had a little bit of fumbling issues at New England. But he's back, and the Panthers may be back as they sit 5-5, looking to go above 500. So I got Carolina and the over, which is set at 43. I got him. I got 48, 49. So I think that Carolina is going to cover easily by 7 to 14. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned Taylor. I call him Heineken, but Heineken. I mean, he outplayed Tom Brady last week.
Absolutely.
I don't care what anybody says. I mean,
Yep.
when would you say that in a sentence? Very rarely.
No.
But he definitely outplayed Tom Brady.
He's becoming a very usable starting quarterback in the National Football League. So kudos to him.
Yeah. All right. So my next spotlight play on the board is the Miami Dolphins, favored by 3 on the road to take on the New York Jets. Points total set at 44 and a hook. All right, the Finns come into this game 3-7. They're 1-4 on the road. They're coming off a big Thursday night football win over the Ravens, 22-10. Now that's 2 in a row for the Dolphins. Okay, I mean they started the season 1-7.
Yeah.
They're now 3-7, so they got a little roll going here. Okay. Now, Tua came back. Definitely, they didn't play the whole game, but he definitely gave them that spark that they needed, Eric. Dearly needed. Okay. Okay. So the Jets. Let's look at them. 2-7. All right. They're 2-2 at home. They're coming off, as I mentioned earlier, a 45-17 loss at the hands of the Bills. Now that's 2 losses in a row for the Jets. 2 teams kind of going in different directions. There's no doubt. Okay. Mike White. Right? A couple weeks ago, the Bengals come into town, and the Jets he looks like MVP candidate, right? Just couldn't stop him. Well, the Mike White for MVP train has kind of left the station, right? He's kind of come back to earth.
Yeah.
4 interceptions last week, Eric. I mean, that's you can't win any games when you throw 4 picks, right?
So let me ask you a question. Now, yeah, we actually, off the air, we talked a few weeks ago about, Mike White. This is the bubble that's going to burst. And it did, and a couple of their other reserve quarterbacks got injured, so they go out and they sign Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco. So
right.
my question to you is, how long before Flacco gets some major playing time?
Well, it looks like he may get the start this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, it's going to be probably sooner than later, right? I mean, if he doesn't start, I don't know who does. So let's say Joe's going to get the nod, okay? And that's over Zach Wilson, right? Their supposed franchise quarterback, from what we've heard, is ready to play, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, are they bagging this season and they're just trying to keep Zach healthy? I'm not sure.
I wish, like many other people, wished that they could read the Jets front office minds. I can tell you one thing: Wilson is not going to be a one and done. They're not going to get rid of him on the offseason. They're going to nurture him. I actually like the Flacco signing.
Flacco, me too.
Flacco is a good locker room presence. Flacco's a big guy, 6'6". He has experience under pressure. Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Ravens.
That's right.
So to me, he can't bring anything but experience and helpful advice for Zach Wilson going forward. So hopefully Wilson embraces it. Flacco succeeds, and then again the odd man out is the guy who's been the odd man out his whole career, seems like, and that's Mike White.
Mike White, right? So, but he'll land somewhere.
I think so.
He's shown himself. Granted, he laid a stinker last week, but he also had a really, really good game. And I'm telling you, people won't forget that. Now, I think that Flacco is there. Maybe gets a start this week, maybe next week. That's why they give Wilson a couple extra weeks to get healthy, and then he's back. Because listen, Wilson needs reps. I mean, if he's going to be your quarterback moving forward, I don't care if you're 2-14. The kid's got to play. Yep. But let me finish breaking down this game. Okay, so all right, those that tune in to the show and listen to our quick hitters know that I was on Miami last week, getting 8.5 against the Ravens. They ended up winning the game outright. Okay, and I also said if they win, and I didn't have them winning the game, I had them covering. But I also had a caveat. I said if the Dolphins win that game, okay, that's going to be a turning point in their season. Now, they did come home with the win. Why did I say a turning point? Well, following that game, their schedule is favorable. And what I mean by that, Eric, is they got the Jets this weekend, okay, followed up by the Panthers. And, again, questionable team right now. No offense, they got the Giants, beatable team. And then they got the Jets again, okay? So that's legitimately 4 games that they can win. So if they do that, They'll be 7-7. Okay, now this team was 1-7. Okay, so again, I think they're going on a roll here. That win at Baltimore really, really was the boost they needed. Tua coming back, another boost. So I see the Dolphins -3 here, covering this game, obviously winning this game. And as far as the total, I'm going under the 44 in the hook. So I like the Dolphins -3, and I'm going under 44 in a hook. Now, Eric, think about it. They're 7-7 at week 14. They have a legitimate shot to make the wild card. I mean, the Dolphins may not be done. Now, if they lose this game, everything I said means nothing. But I think they're going on a roll here.
I think we both can agree that they're playing for Brian Flores' job.
100%. 100%.
And like we've said a few times this year already, that the players love to play for Brian Flores.
Yeah.
He's what they call a player's coach. That only gets you as far as your success. And the Tua experiment, I mean, I like Jacoby Brissett. He has a lot of starting experience.
Yeah.
Is he a Tua? He's a different type of he's actually a big guy. He's not a small guy like Tua.
He's big. Yeah.
I mean, but you gotta understand about Tua. I think he's been involved in 17 games or 16 games, not even a full season yet.
Right.
So you gotta let him have some maturation process, and you gotta let him screw up a few times before you give up on him, I guess. But they are certainly fighting for Flores' job. But yeah, I think we had them 9-7, 8 and
no.
Excuse me,
over 9 wins.
9 and 8, yeah, 9 and 8. We went back and forth on that. I think, could they get there? They could. Is it probable after starting 1-7? No, but they're playing out of their minds right now. So who knows? I agree with you on that.
Yeah, they got to. If they don't win this week, Eric, it's a long shot. But I think they're a live play this week. I think they cover the game. So, what do you got for your next spotlight play?
Okay, well, don't laugh. The New York Football Giants on the road.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I should delay the plane. They're traveling to Tampa Bay to play the Tampa Bay Bucks, who are coming off a loss. Bucks are favored by 10 in a hook.
That's a big number.
Well, and this is going to be a really short and sweet. It's 50 is the over-under, by the way.
50. Okay, yep.
At the time of the show, anyway. And it's going to be a short and sweet breakdown. There's only 4 points you need to hit to break this entire thing down. Tampa Bay comes in with the third-ranked offense in the National Football League. They average 406.4 yards per contest.
Wow.
Okay. Tampa Bay also comes into this game with a 9th-ranked defense. So they're top 10 in both offense and defense.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the New York Football Giants.
Whoops.
Well, there's no way to sugarcoat it. The Giants have the 26th ranked defense out of 32 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the 21st ranked total offense.
Yeah.
That doesn't equal much success if anybody you play, especially a team with the top 10 in both the offense and defense and playing at home. Giants are a mess. I'm a Giants fan, but any Giants fan, you got to be real. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't play with emotions. Yeah. The Giants are a mess. Joe Judge is on the hot seat and should be. Saquon Barkley's in and out. I'm sick. I'm hurt. I'm not. Isn't helping things. I kind of have the feeling now, and the insiders last week kind of confirmed that he might have pushed his return from his major knee injury maybe a few weeks too early this year, and that's caused a little bit of hamstring issues, a little bit of calf issues. Of course, everything goes awry when you're trying to rehab a knee. All your other parts that you're using that you don't use all that much, and now you're using them extensively, well, they start having some issues. So Saquon Barkley, he might be back this week. He was held out of practice yesterday. Practice limited today. He says if he feels good, he's going to go. No kidding, right? Daniel Jones gets no blindside or even not his blindside, any protection whatsoever from the offensive line. Offensive line is made. I think last week and this week will be the same starting offensive line for the first time this year. So the Giants are a big mess. They're heading to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's going to improve to 7-3. The Giants are 3-6. And the Giants are coming off a win, and Tampa Bay's coming off a loss, which is weird. But I think Tampa Bay gets back on track. I got Tampa and the under though, and I only say the under because I don't think the Giants can't score. That's the problem. They scored 180 points. 179 points this entire year. Okay, this is week 11. There's only been 4 teams in the league that have scored as less than the New York Football Giants. So I got Tampa, man. I got the under. I think it's not gonna be close. I'm thinking like a 38-7, 34-10, something like that. It's not gonna be pretty. There's no other way around it.
That's a good breakdown.
You know,
again,
like I,
he's a Giants fan, so
right? Like I do, Brady's gonna be 27 for 35, 325, 3 touchdowns. What you should be doing when you're 44 years old.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so good breakdown. All right, my last spotlight play on the board is the Arizona Cardinals, favored by 2.5 on the road. They travel to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Points total set at 48. And also, Eric, and we don't get paid for this, but maybe someday we will. People say, well, where are we getting our lines? Where are we getting the odds? We get it from 2 places. We get it from DraftKings, and we get it from FanDuel. So listen, we're giving those 2 companies props. We're giving them free airplay because they're really good websites. They have really good prop bets and numbers, and we really do use them. So DraftKings and FanDuel, check them out, folks. They're 2 really, really good sites.
We got room right to the right of us, Patrick, for the nice logos on the header for 7 and a hook. They could be right next to the right on the opposite side of the 7. Could be a FanDuel, DraftKings. We love you guys. Come on board.
I was thinking more like like the tattoo under my eyes, like instead of the black that we put.
Nice.
What do you think?
You put DraftKings, I'll put FanDuel. There you go.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
Anyways, all right. So let's get back to the game here. All right, Arizona comes in this game 8-2. They're 5-0 on the road, undefeated on the road so far. Now they're coming off an embarrassing loss at home, Carolina Panthers. Yeah, I mean that was a 34-10 shellacking. Game wasn't even that close. Okay. That was the second game that Colt McCoy, he's still in the league, got the nod behind center for the Cardinals. Now again, Kyler Murray, he's still kind of dealing with that ankle injury. He did practice limited so far this week, Eric. So there's maybe a potential he might start this week. It hasn't been confirmed yet. But again, I don't know how much mobility he's going to have. He's got an ankle problem. They still got a lead, in their division. They may, if they're smart, they probably sit him out again. But again, we'll know come game time. All right, so Seattle. Okay, they come in this game 3-6. They're 1-3 at home. I'm going to say that again. They're 1-3 at home. I'm going to talk about their home field advantage soon. And they're coming off a 17-0. Goose egg. They put up an offer against Green Bay. Now, again, an asterisk. Russell Wilson had just come back, right? He was off for about a month because of his thumb injury, and he really looked it. I mean, he was
rusty.
There's no other way to describe it. Okay. On the other side of the ball was Mr. COVID. Rodgers. He didn't look that good either. But their defense for Green Bay is really the reason Green Bay won that game 17-0. All right, now Seattle lost 4 out of their last 5 games, Eric. They're on a downward trend, okay? But they're playing at home, okay? Russell Wilson, first week back, a lot of rust. I think he needs a little home cooking. And what I mean by home cooking, Seattle at home, since that stadium opened in 2002, okay? They call it the 12th man, right? They always have some sort of celebrity come and get the fans all riled up. They're 66-30 at home. Absolutely. Since 2002, okay? That's a 70% winning percentage. That's incredible, right? I mean, it really is.
I think the only better team than that is the Pats. I think
you're probably right. Well,
I think Seattle's too.
Yep. Okay. So there you go. And you know what? I didn't even look that up, but I'm going to say you're right.
They are. They're an elite company. I mean, Seattle, like you said, you go there, the 12th man is a real deal there.
It is a real deal. So Seattle getting points at home, okay, against an Arizona Cardinal team that literally just got beat up. by the Panthers. Now they're going to go on the road to play in, like you say, maybe the second hardest place to play in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a bad spot for the Cardinals. Okay. I like Seattle getting 2 and a hook. Okay. And as far as the points total, I'm going under the total here. I think you're going to see a lot of ground game here. I'm going under 48, but I'm going to take the 2 and a hook with the Seattle Seahawks.
I like that play. I mean, I think it's really evident, especially last week, that as Kyler Murray goes, the Arizona Cardinals go.
No doubt. No doubt.
You know, I mean, you got Colt McCoy. He's serviceable at best, but you know he's no Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a game changer. Russell Wilson, he had a week of practice. You know, he shook the rust off last week in a goose egg loss. You know, it surprised me a little bit that he couldn't hook up a Metcalf, but you could tell by the way he was releasing the ball that finger still hurt. But
he wasn't right. He definitely wasn't right in that game. But I think the home cooking, I think the adrenaline of the home crowd, the 12th man as we call it, I think you're going to see Seattle come to play here. Okay, and they need this win. If they lose this game, this season is done. Put a fork in them. They're done. Okay, so a couple things for them to get ready for.
I think that's a very serviceable pick. So.
All right, so we're going to move on from that's our NFL, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a 3 spotlight play each. I'm going to now focus on a couple college football games, and then I'm going to hand it off to our boxing guru, and he's going to break down a championship fight that's happening tomorrow night in New Hampshire. Now, this show is based in Boston, as we said, so that's not too far from us. No. So that's pretty exciting that we've got a world championship bout not too far from where we live. All right, so first play on the college football board. I have San Diego State favored by 10 and a hook on the road, and they travel to take on the UNLV Running Rebels. Points total set at 41. San Diego State, they're ranked 19th in the nation. They come into this game, Eric, 9-1. They're coming off a hard-fought win, 23-21 over the Nevada Wolfpack. The Wolfpack took them and put them to test. I mean, they really did. The Aztecs had to win this game with about a minute left, field goal. Okay, so again, sometimes you fall into those games where you don't play that well, but good teams win. This team found a way to win. They are a run-first team. Okay, we've had them on. I played them a couple times this year, and it's all about Greg Bell. All right, he's got 849 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns. The team itself averages 192 yards a game on the ground. All right, to give you perspective, Bell's got 849 yards rushing. Their quarterback has only thrown for 800 yards. All right, you can see that they run first. Okay, yes. And their quarterback's not that bad. Lucas Johnson, he's thrown for 6 touchdowns, but again, I think he's their 3rd leading rusher, so you can see they rush first. All right, UNLV, the Running Rebels. They're 2-8 on the season. They're 2-4 in the conference out in the Mountain West. Now those 2 wins were the last 2 games, so they got a little bit of momentum, as I like to say, as they head down the stretch here. They beat New Mexico on the road, and last week, believe it or not, Hawaii flew in, and UNLV knocked them off, and very convincingly. And Hawaii's not a bad football team.
No.
Okay, they beat them 27-13. Cameron Frost having an okay season, even though they're 2-8. He's got over 1,500 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. But really, the star of the show for the Running Rebels is their running back, Charles Williams. He's got 1,100 yards on the ground, 13 touchdowns. This kid is probably going to be playing on Sundays. Unfortunately, you don't see him on TV much, but someone's going to pick this kid up. He is a very, very good running back. All right, so what do I think in this game? Well, San Diego State, they're going to a bowl. They've been on TV a lot this year. They're going to end up maybe 10-1, maybe, who knows, maybe 10-2, not sure. This game, UNLV. I'm on the side of the Rebels. Why? They've got some momentum going with them. This game is nationally televised, Eric. It's on CBS Sports Network, okay? UNLV has not been on TV at all this year. All right, this is their Super Bowl. This is their bowl game. They're going to come to play. They've got a pretty good defense, and they've got a good rushing offense. They're going to keep this game close. I'm going to take the 10 and a hook, and I'm going under 41. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, okay?
Wow.
My second spotlight play, Georgia Tech on the road travel to take on Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish. Notre Dame is favored by 17, points total set at 59. Now, Georgia Tech, they're 3-7 on the year. They're losers of 4 straight. I mean, talk about a season that just has tanked, okay? They had aspirations 4 games ago. Now they just want to finish out this season, all right? They lost last week 41-30 to Boston College. Now, they played Notre Dame this week, Eric, okay? The last game of the season is against Georgia. I mean, that's not an easy way to finish the season. Not at all, right? Okay. Now, we both know about Georgia. They're a juggernaut. I mean, that's a tough game to end. I don't care who you are, but Georgia Tech's in for a rough couple weeks here. They scored 28 points a game. They're letting up 30, all right? Again, pretty balanced offense, 220 yards in the air, about 180 on the ground. So, pretty balanced. Notre Dame, they come into this game 9-1. They're ranked 8th in the college football playoff rankings. Last week, they were on the road, and they beat Virginia 28-3. Irish are winners of 5 straight. Their last loss was to who? Cincinnati Bearcats, okay, who are currently ranked, I think, 4th in the playoff football rankings. They're undefeated. QB Jack Crone, very good year, over 2,000 yards passing and 16 touchdowns. Notre Dame, they're averaging 252 yards in the year, 150 on the ground. So far, their star running back, Kyron Williams, almost 900 yards, 10 touchdowns. Notre Dame's averaging 32 points a game. They're letting up 20. Notre Dame owns this series, Eric. They played 35 times. Notre Dame has won 29. Wow. Last time they played, this is a one-way affair. There's no doubt. 31-13 last year. Notre Dame stomped them. It's going to happen again this year, okay? And Georgia Tech's going to come to Notre Dame. They're going to get trounced, okay, for a couple of reasons. Notre Dame is a better team. Georgia Tech, they had a lot of injuries last week. They're a little bit wounded. And guess what? Notre Dame has to really light it up. If they want to get in that top 4, but they got to hope a couple teams ahead of them lose, and they got to put on a show, okay, this week. Because next week, they play against Stanford. Stanford's 3-7. Again, they don't have big teams to play ending the year, so they got to put up some big numbers. So I like the Irish -17, and I like the over 59.
Very good analysis, my friend. Very good breaking down the college football scene. You are the college football guru for 7 and a Hook, the world's premier sporting bet podcast.
All right, I've been waiting all week to hear your breakdown of this WBO middleweight title fight. So you're on deck.
Well, it's going to take place tomorrow, 8 p.m. is showtime at the Southern New Hampshire University Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. The number 10th ranked WBO middleweight, Jason Quigley, travels across the pond. He's an Ireland boy. To fight Providence, Rhode Island native Demetrius Andrade, who is the current reigning and defending WBO middleweight champion of the world. Both fighters are tall, 6'1". The weigh-in today saw Andrade right at the middleweight limit of 160 even. And Quigley came in at 159.8, so they're going to hydrate probably up to 172 to 175 each. So that's going to be it's going to be a good fight. Andre is 30-0 with 18 KOs.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And Quigley is 19-1, 14 KOs. As I mentioned, he's the 10th ranked WBO middleweight. A lot of people are getting on Andre a little bit, that he's kind of ducking, which has always been his gripe. His gripe is everybody ducks me, everybody ducks me. But there are many ranked fighters from 2 to 9 that you could have picked, but you picked Jason Quigley, who's the 10th ranked. So that's got a little bit of people scratching their heads. I think Quigley, he's a major underdog. First of all, 6-1 for Andrade. Now, what's going to give Quigley fits is that Andrade fights from a southpaw stance, which is going to pose fits. It's going to you have to account for that, and that's going to open you up to either a straight left or a right to the body as you're trying to overcompensate. Quigley is an orthodox fighter, which means you're standing with your left foot in front of your right foot, your left hand in front of your right hand. Southpaw is just the opposite. Your right foot's first. so you can load up on that left hand. The good thing for Quigley is after his last loss, which was 2 years ago, he changed everything he did in boxing. He found a new place to train because he was training in England. He went back to closer to Ireland to train. He hired famed trainer Andy Lee, who was a great boxer himself. He's in the best shape. He was great in the weigh-in today. I didn't get to ask any questions, but judging by the way those guys looked, they both came to fight. Andy Lee is known. He really does. He's also he's a European fighter himself, an ex-European fighter, so he can relate to their fighting style, which is totally different. Irish fighters. There actually was a fighter that was born and bred right near you. Actually, his nickname was Irish Mickey Ward.
That's it.
If you knew,
we used to work out at the same. We used to work out at the same gym. Not I was boxing, but
yep.
Lifting weights. So yeah.
Well, there was a very famous trilogy of fights when he took on I think it was a Colombian or Dominican fighter named Arturo Gotti. All you have to do is say Gotti Ward. Everybody in the boxing annals knows what Gotti Ward is. They were bloodbaths. They were, for not being heavyweights, probably the biggest slugfest you could ever watch in your life. You can find them on YouTube. Right after you watch our show on 7 and Hook on YouTube, you can go search Arturo Gotti and Mickey Ward. What I'm getting at is the Irish fighters. They take punishment and they keep on coming. What good or bad or indifferent, they usually end up bloodied and battered and bruised. I think Andre is going to be way too much. It's way on a different level. It's kind of like Plant fighting Canelo, and Canelo saying before the fight, "You've never fought anybody on my level."
Right.
And that's what's going to be with Quigley. Usually, I love to say that a boxer has a puncher's chance. I don't see this lasting. I see it being a KO, not a TKO. I think Quigley's loss, he was stopped. It wasn't a decision. He was knocked out. And of course, Andre's 30-0 with 18 KO, so he does possess a little bit of power. I think it's going to be a KO before the 7th.
Before the 7th, okay.
Before the 7th, I just think it's going to be too much, and I hope, looking past this fight, that Demetrius Andre picks I don't know who his mandatory is going to be for the next time, but I hope he picks a Charlo or somebody that can really test Andre, because 30-0, and everybody's like, wow, my God, he's 30-0 and he's got 18 KOs, but the level of competition is different than a lot of fighters. But I see it. He's a 6-1 favorite. I don't see Quigley winning this match. I mean, unless it's a stoppage for an injury for Andre or something happens, I just see him being way too tough for Quigley. And this is Quigley's first fight in the United States. He has a 2-inch reach disadvantage. Andre has 74-inch and Quigley 72. And I think that Andre is going to put a show on for the New England fans, and it's rare, except for the recent pandemic they had what they call the fight sphere, and that was at Mohegan Sun. So all of the fights were at Mohegan Sun, but you couldn't see them because no fans were allowed. So to have a championship fight, and actually there's 4 fights on this card, that championship, in New Hampshire or anywhere in New England, is very rare. And definitely looking forward to it. So look for a knockout from Demetrius Andre. It's going to be his 4th title defense. I see him not having an issue. He'll be 31-0 with 19 KOs when it's all over.
Very nice. And if you can't get to the fight,
you can watch it on DAZN. DAZN.
It's on DAZN, right?
Yes.
Which is a great network. Listen, we got room for you too, DAZN. We plug them a lot because that really is a great network. There's no doubt.
Yep.
All right, so you got Andre, you got him KO before the 7th.
Before the 7th, yeah.
Right. We were talking off air the other night, and this cat has called out Canelo, right? I mean, I think he wants to fight him, but does he really want to fight him, Eric?
Well, you're talking about the cruiserweight?
Yeah.
Okay, well, in the interest of full disclosure, Eddie Reynoso, who's a trainer for Canelo, called him out. He called him out and said, we want to move up to cruiserweight. Now, if people watching this podcast aren't exactly familiar with the boxing weight weight limits and stuff because there's so many of them. It's very easy.
A lot. Yeah.
Very easy to get confused. When Canelo came up, when he was a youngster, he was fighting at welterweight, which is 147. Okay. Now, cruiserweight is 190. And so you say to yourself, that's 43 pound difference. It might as well be 300 pounds difference in boxing.
Right. Right.
Now, Canelo was stopped at 147 by Floyd Money Mayweather. His only loss, it was a decision, which a lot of, you put that fight today, you put Floyd in his prime and you put Canelo today, and it wouldn't even be a match in my opinion. But he does have a loss at 147. He's won titles at 160, 168. He took Kovalev's title at light heavyweight, 175, and now he wants to. He's got a 154 title as well, so he wants to be a 5-time weight division champion. This cat he's fighting, Makabu, I think his name is, last name. He's from the Congo. He is a current WBA, I think. If I don't have my notes in front of me, but he is the current champion for cruiserweight, and they're actually good friends. I watched the press conference. This Congolese fighter obviously has never seen a payday like this presents to him, so he's very excited. This cat is extremely tough, has an extremely good chin, but again, everything comes around to your level of competition that you fought. And that is majorly suspect. A lot of people said that about Plant, well, who's he really faced? And Caleb Plant did face some pretty good competition. This guy hasn't. And this guy's goal is he's going to fight Canelo. This is going to happen probably in May or June of 2022, so it's not that far away. And then he plans on moving up to heavyweight. And the current WBA, WBC, and IBF, heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, came from the cruiserweight ranks. He's the one that knocked out Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
So this guy will move up. Canelo's going to be 190. He's only 5 foot. He's 5'8".
Ooh.
He can come in any weight he wants. The max is 190. I should say that. I can see Canelo coming in about 184, 185. This guy will be a little bit under 190. They're both going to hydrate up 12 to 15 pounds, which is incredible. You think about that. Boxing is so incredible. These guys overnight, like the Andre and Quigley weigh-in was 6 hours ago. These guys will hydrate 10 to 12, 15 pounds in some cases overnight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, it kind of makes it a totally different fight, which is one of the reasons I loved. There was an organization back in the day that would have a weigh-in right before you walked into the ring.
Oh, wow.
They would have their customary weigh-in the day before.
Yeah.
And, because you have to make weight then. You have to legally, contractually make weight, or, championships go bye-bye. You have to sacrifice some of your purse. But they'd also have a little graphic in the corner that says fight weight. It was really cool because it'd be like, man, like Bernard Hopkins would he was a former middleweight and super welterweight champion, and he would do a 10 to 12, 15 pounds, and it's just like, it's remarkable. But anyway, getting back to Canelo, I can't count the guy out. I mean, I don't know how far he can take it. What's next? Heavyweight?
Yeah.
I mean, what can't this guy do? So we're gonna see. It's gonna be a big test. I think Artur Beterbiev would have been a better test for Canelo. I think he can actually beat Canelo. I'm not sold on David Benavidez beating Canelo, although he is undefeated. He was fighting last Saturday, and he looked sluggish to me, but he might have been fighting to his level of competition. But who knows? But it's gonna be fun to watch. So lots of boxing stuff coming. Of course, you got the heavyweight stuff happening with Ruiz. He's got a fight coming up. Andy Ruiz. He's the third-ranked WBA heavyweight. You're gonna have Fury, and then you're gonna have all the YouTube stuff.
And listen, we got. And the good thing is, we got a boxing guru on the show, folks.
I love it. I love it.
And there's a lot of good bouts coming up.
There
so
is, certainly.
Stay tuned.
So again,
all right,
that's Andre KO, not TKO. I think it's going to be a full KO.
That's right. That's right.
Before the 7th. 7th or before.
All right.
Mark that down.
All right, we're going to change gears now. We're going to go on the pitch. I'm going to end the show with a little international football, a little soccer. Okay. I'm going to start with the Bundesliga. Now, all the club teams return to action this week. Why? Well, because the international break is over. All World Cup qualifiers are done. All the teams, everyone's back home with their clubs. All right. So we're going to start, like I said, with the Bundesliga. We got Bayern Munich on the road, and they travel to take on FC Augsburg. All right. Bayern is a minus 575 favorite on the road. Augsburg is a plus 1,400 dog at home. The draw is set at plus 700. Goal total set at 2 and a hook. All right, Augsburg. They currently sit 16th in the table, which is in the relegation zone. All right, so if they don't start winning some games, they're going to be sent down to the league below, and nobody wants that. Once you make it up to the top league, you don't want to go back because it's all about this. It's all about the Benjamins, okay? Now, in their first 11 matches this season, they have 2 wins, 3 draws, 6 losses for only 9 points. They've only put 9 goals. They've scored 9 goals. They've let up 20. All right, the last 5, 1 win, 3 losses, 1 draw. Not very good form. All right, Bayern, let's look at them. They're atop the Bundesliga. They're a juggernaut. I don't know what else to call them. They just steamroll everybody. 11 matches. They've got 9 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, 28 points. They've scored 40 goals. 40 goals. Wow. In 11 matches. Unheard of. Okay, they've only let up 11. All right. Robert Lewandowski, he's leading the way. This kid, he's older, but he seems like he's getting younger. Okay, you can't stop this guy. 11 matches so far. He's got 13 goals, Eric, 1 assist. Okay, he's unstoppable. He's unstoppable. Now, he just comes. He plays for Poland. You know that's his home nation. So he was just World Cup qualifying with Poland. Well, what did he do the other day? He put 2 goals in. Okay. Game before that, UEFA's Champions League, playing against Benfica. What did he do there? Nothing. Hat trick. No big deal. Okay. 5 goals in his last 2 matches. This guy is he's on fire. He's probably going to win the Golden Boot again, which is, again, scoring the most goals as he's done more than once. Okay. All right. Let's look at this matchup. These two teams have met 53 times. All right. Bayern has won 37. Okay. They've drawn 6, and Augsburg's won. They won 10. Now the 10 they won, Eric, are probably 20 years ago. This is Bayern's. They own this series. There's no other way to look at it. So I look at it this way: Bayern's going to win this match. Okay, it's going to be over 2 and a hook goals. And I'm also going to look at a prop. And again, this one I believe is from FanDuel. DraftKings. All right, I got Bayern Munich to win the first half by 1.5. Okay, they're going to be up by at least 2 goals in the first half of this game. So those are my 3 plays there. Okay, last play on the board tonight. We're going to go to the English Premier League, the EPL. All right, we got Manchester United on the road. They travel to take on Watford. All right, Manchester United is a minus 200 favorite on the road. Watford is a plus 550 at home. The draw is set at plus 230. Goal total again set at 2 and a hook. All right, Man U, they come into this game 6th in the table in the English Premier League. After 11 matches, they've got 5 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses for 17 points. Scored 19 goals, Eric. They've let up 17. Okay, now they're a team that is known to outscore. Well, they're not doing that yet. Okay, and that's why they sit 6th in the table. Their last match before the international break was a 2-0 loss against one of their heated rivals, Manchester City. Okay, that's been sticking in their craw for the last 2.5 weeks. Okay, so I think the Lion is going to roar this week. But let me finish up. All right, Watford, 17th in the table, just above the relegation zone, hanging on by the skin of their teeth. All right, in 11 matches, they've got 3 wins, 1 draw, 7 losses for only 10 points. They've scored 12. They've let up 19. One of the worst defenses in the English Premier League. Okay. Now, let's look at Man U. Their manager, head coach, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Okay. He's been on the hot seat all year. All right. Manchester United should be battling for a top 4 position. They're in 6th. The rumor during the international break, Eric, was that he was going to be fired. Well, they didn't fire him. Okay. So you know what? That's what you call a vote of confidence. Now, the Glazers, an American family, they own the team, okay? They've been known to be very patient, okay? If they were going to fire him, it would have been now. They didn't, okay? So I think he's going to, breathe a sigh of relief, okay? And I think he's going to repay them by having Man U come out firing on all cylinders this week against Watford. So I like Manchester United to win this match. And as far as the goal total, I'm looking up. I like over 2.5 goals in this match, Eric.
Very nice.
All right. I want to, before we kind of head to the exits, because it's about that time, right? So a little bonus play. All right. I know neither of us broke this game down, but tonight's Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
All right. The New England Patriots, one of the hottest teams in the country, or in the nation, all right, travel to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Patriots are favored by 7. I've seen 7.5. I've seen 6. Well, let's say 7 is consensus. Points total set at 47.5. Real quick, who do you like tonight?
I like Atlanta at home. I think Matt and Matty Ice. I think he's going to light up the Patriots secondary. Atlanta plays good at home against the Pats. Pats are good. Mac Jones is coming to his own, but I see Atlanta actually winning the game outright, and I see the under.
You know what? We're on the same wavelength here. Okay, I like Atlanta getting the 7, and I think the under. I think a couple of reasons. Mac Jones is still a rookie. Last time I checked, right? Okay, traveling down to Atlanta, short week, and the running game is going to be front and center. I think with the Patriots. Okay, well, like you said, Matty Ice. They got nothing to lose at this point, okay? I think they're going to be flinging it left and right. So I like Atlanta getting the 7. And I'm with you. I like the under 47.5. So, all right, my friend. I think that puts a wrap on tonight's picks and plays. So I think we're going to head to the exits. What do you say?
Sounds good to me, my friend.
All right. So, hey, listen, again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Take the time. Go to our website, 7andAhook.com. Check it out. You'll see all of our content. Drop us a line. We'd certainly like to hear from you. So listen, hopefully we gave you some good insight, gave you some good plays, and you can go cash some tickets. So on behalf of everyone here at the 7 and a Hook podcast, we hope you have a great day. And as we always say, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.
Thanks again for tuning in to the 7 and a Hook podcast. Until next time, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.